Yes, welcome everyone here to the Smash Sports Show right here on Smash FM here on a Friday here in Melbourne. Of course, let's go, of course, across to the US in particular, and of course, speak to the USC women's golf team in particular. And of course, we've got two very special guests on the show, of course. One's an Australian, one's a New Zealander, of course, because we've got both of them on the show right now. Of course, one is still in New Zealand, the other one is in Houston, Texas. And of course, their names are Amelia and Gabby. Thanks, both of you, for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
No worries. Well, I'll start with you, Gabby, first. Obviously, you're currently over in the US. Firstly, I guess, how has it been like over there, and have you actually been home during this pandemic?
No, I haven't actually been able to get back. Originally, I'm from Southern California, as you can tell by my accent. Yeah, I lived in Melbourne for 8 years, I'm pretty sure, and then moved back here for college. And I actually haven't been back to Melbourne since I started college here in Southern California. So that's definitely something that I want to do. I was hoping to play in the Australian Open or Vic Open in January, but they just canceled those events. But yeah, definitely looking to get back sometime soon.
Now, I have to ask, Gabby, what are you doing in Houston?
I'm playing 2 practice rounds for the US Open, which is in December. So I'm playing a tournament in North Carolina next week, and this was kind of a good stopping place, I guess, right in the middle from LA to North Carolina. So just thought I'd get some practice out in Houston. And
how's that going at the moment?
Good. I got here yesterday. The course is actually, the US Open is being played over 2 courses. So I got yesterday and today to be able to kind of familiarize myself with the 2 courses. And yeah, I mean, I'm excited for the week. It's definitely going to be a challenge. Different golf courses to California for sure, and definitely from Australia. So it was great, you know, kind of getting out here and getting used to the course.
Now, Amelia, obviously you're not over in the US at the moment. You're back home in New Zealand. I guess, what have you been doing to hopefully return back to the US again?
Living pretty well here with no corona, really. So it's been, you know, I've been really lucky to be able to get back home and be with my family during this really weird time. But obviously still doing school online, so that's taking up half of my days, and then just getting out to the course and practicing. There's a lot of guys back who are usually in university over in the States as well, that I've got to practice with, and a lot of people, you know, from my home course and stuff back here that are wanting to get games and stuff. So definitely been keeping myself busy, but for sure ready to get back over to the States and start competing again.
Is there any events that you're planning to get into once, I guess, you know exactly where it's at?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, like, we've got a pretty packed schedule next semester for USC. I think there's about 9 on the calendar right now, which is a lot more than usual. So I've got those through to May, and then sitting on the line on a US Open invite right now. This year they're letting in the top 20 amateurs in the world. Usually they just do qualifiers. So luckily I'm kind of in contention for that. So that'll be a bonus as well if I get in that. And that is, as Gabby said, the start of December. So fingers crossed that I can sneak my way into the field.
You mentioned, Amelia, that obviously there's obviously New Zealand's gone way better than everyone else in the world at the moment with COVID, and obviously you've had your lockdown as well. I guess, what did you do in lockdown to, I guess, you know, try to keep yourself motivated during that very hard lockdown that you had at the start of the year?
Yeah, we did, I think it was 6 weeks all up, where we literally weren't even allowed to leave the house other than going to the supermarket. So the first, say, week, I probably didn't do a whole lot, was watching a lot of Netflix and hanging around with my sisters and parents. But after that, I kind of realised, and I wasn't enjoying it myself really, so I just started to get a lot more structure in my days. I live on a golf course, luckily, as well, so I was able to hit balls from my backyard, which was a bit sneaky, but I might as well take an advantage of it. But I think I just really learned how you can actually get better as a golfer and an all-round athlete without touching the club. There's so much more that goes into golf than just, hitting the ball. It's the main thing, but there's so many little things that, I got time to work on during that time, which I never used to prioritize. When, we're student athletes, we've got a pretty busy life. So it was a really good time to just, step back and sort of reflect and make some time for other parts of my game that usually I don't have.
Pretty much 2020, pretty much done for in about a couple of months' time. I guess, what's the focus for 2021 for both you?
2021, obviously try and hit the ground running. So doing my best to prepare for the new year, so I can, start next semester with school in the best form that I can be. And then Gabby and I are both graduating, I think, next May. So turning professional is on the cards for us. It's been, I know for me, it's been a long time coming. So that's been something I've been working towards my whole life. So that'll be the main focus for my back end of the year.
Yeah, so I'd say, kind of going off that, hopefully we have a season in the spring. We unfortunately didn't have a season this fall because of the coronavirus. So the Pac-12, our conference, didn't let us have a season, didn't let us play tournaments. So we were just kind of sitting around for the fall, which wasn't too fun. So hopefully we can kind of get the ground running again in the spring and play a few more college tournaments before we're done. And then, as Amelia said, we're going to be graduating too. So kind of sights on turning professional. And, in May, I have my sights on turning professional in May. So yeah, it's exciting.
Now, I have to ask both of you this question. Tell us a bit about your coaches. Be careful, because obviously one of your coaches is actually in this Zoom call at the moment.
They've been great. Honestly, we only, spent a semester with Katie, really, 2 semesters, but they both, Justin and Katie, have both been amazing and a crucial part of, not just my game, but also, developing as a person as well. So I've definitely loved both of them, and kind of sucked that we got a full year taken away from us to spend with them and with the team as well. But I'm really excited to hopefully get back and be with the team again.
Yeah, they've been awesome. We've had Justin for a couple of years now. We first started with another coach, Andrea Gaston, and then obviously she went to Texas A&M. But I feel like we've all really, really enjoyed having Justin as a coach. And then Katie was a new addition. And as Amelia said, we had a semester with her, and she's awesome. She's like a friend to all of us. And, I've been lucky enough to also have Justin, who's our head coach, as my caddy for a couple US amateurs. So, I feel like if anyone knows my game, it's probably Justin. He watches us play all the time in practice and tournaments, and is just around us all the time. So definitely Justin and Katie know my game the best, and we rely on them a lot for almost everything.
Now, I wanted to bring your assistant coach, Katie, for this next question. She turns the camera on for this question. Now, Katie, tell us a bit about, I guess, how special to be coaching these 2 amazing golfers.
Oh, they're so much fun. On the golf course, off the golf course, it's really fun to see how much they've improved. I've known Garvey for a while, but just started being her coach last year. And then Gabby, I watched her play when she was still a junior. So seeing both their games kind of develop over the last 3 or 4 years has been such a treat. And I know the sky's the limit for both of them. And I just wish I didn't have this year taken away, because they're just so much fun to coach and be around. And they're really talented. So it's fun. They make my job really easy. What
convinced all 3 to come to USC?
Obviously, so my mom went to USC. She played tennis at USC. back in her day. And, you know, growing up, I've always been a fan of USC. And, you know, I've always kind of wanted to go there. I played tennis before I played golf. And even when I was playing tennis, it was a goal of mine to go to USC and be on the tennis team. But when I switched to golf, my goals kind of remained the same, and I still wanted to go there. So it was definitely a dream school of mine. I mean, I was looking at a lot of other schools because originally USC didn't offer me a scholarship first up. So I was looking at schools on the East Coast, West Coast, all over. But then one girl on the team turned pro, and luckily I was offered a scholarship. So I knew right at that point that I wanted to go there. So ever since I was little, it's definitely been a dream school for me, and I'm so glad I was able to come here for college.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much wrong with the place. Like, it's just amazing. The weather was, you know, being a golfer and we play all year round, it makes it a lot easier when it's usually, you know, the lowest temperature it gets in the winter is probably high teens, and then it never gets really over 30 degrees either. So that really makes it a lot easier being able to practice and play all year round. But I think for me, the biggest thing that drew me towards USC was how just the environment and how it just seems to breed a lot of talented athletes. I think there's a fact that we walk past every day in our athlete center, and it's if USC was a country, I think in the Olympics for medals, we'd be ranked like 14th or something. So just that in itself just shows how hardworking everyone is there, and just being able to be around those people on a day-to-day basis and learn from them is just a really cool opportunity.
For me, it's a no-brainer. I mean, I was at Pepperdine before, and you look at rankings and World Amateur Golf Ranking and national championships in the LPGA, and you see how many players USC pumps out on tour and how many players in the top 50, top 25 on Wagger is just impressive. So for me to be a part of that was definitely, I consider USC, even before I became a coach here, probably top 5 job ever to be a coach at in any program, really.
Now, I'll ask the two golfers this question. Now, how did both of you get involved in golf, and why did you choose it?
Yeah, I think we have kind of a little bit different stories between me and Amelia, but I actually started playing tennis first, as I mentioned before. So I played tennis from about 8 years old until 14. I played pretty competitively. I was traveling all over Europe to play tournaments, and I was in the National Academy in Melbourne actually for tennis. And just one day I kind of got burnt out. I started homeschooling and wasn't really enjoying my tennis anymore. I'd played it for so long, even though I was so young and at a pretty intense level. And I just decided that I didn't want to play anymore. And then I was so used to being active from playing tennis. And when I stopped, I was kind of bored. I didn't really know what to do. So my mom was like, you should try golf. And apparently I went to the driving range, loved it, and then wanted to come like every day after that. And but my brother is a professional golfer, so it was kind of in the family too. I don't want to say I copied him, but I think I kind of did. But yeah, I mean, I've always kind of been around golf even when I was playing tennis, but I'd also say my brother was a big influence with me playing golf too.
Yeah, funny story, because I think I actually played with Gabby in one of her first tournaments in Australia. And I think she stood up onto the first tee and like, I was like, hi, like whatever, introducing ourselves. And she said, ended up getting talking, and she said she'd only been playing golf for like 8 months. And by that time she was beating me probably by 5 shots, and I'd probably been playing for 8 years, let alone 8 months. So yeah, that just shows the difference between our two stories. But yeah, I basically started when I was 6 years of age, and have had my sights on taking it all the way ever since then. I did play a lot of sports growing up, but sort of I got to around 13, 14 years of age and had to pick one, and it was a no-brainer really. The places I've been able to go with golf has been amazing, and the opportunities that I've had have been unreal, so don't look back at all.
Now, what will be some career highlights throughout your golfing journey so far? Even though I think I know what Gabby's might be.
I'd say mine, along with, I'd say my one for the team has been winning the Eastlake Cup. It must have been last year now. A team win compared to an individual win is just, I don't think it compares really when you've got 4 girls around you and you're doing it not only for yourself and for the coaches as well. It's a different feeling. So that was definitely one of my highlights of college golf, and I hope we can get back and get a national championship next year. But my biggest individual result was at the British Amateur last year. I got into the finals and got to the last hole, but unfortunately it went the other way. So a runner up there definitely boosted my confidence going into last season, which I ended up playing pretty well as well.
Yeah, I'd definitely say for team win at USC, it would definitely be Eastlake Cup. Just even the golf course where we played, it was a pretty prestigious, pretty big tournament. And I think we were freshmen at the time. No, maybe first semester sophomore. But to be televised on Golf Channel, and I mean, it was awesome to have that team win for us. It was really, really cool. And then probably for individual, probably the USM. That was a pretty special experience. Even like qualifying for that event, I was super excited to qualify last year because it was my first ever USM, and I definitely didn't think I would go all the way to win it, but it was so cool, such a cool experience, and definitely one I'll never forget.
Hey, Gabby, I should ask this question, following on from that response. I guess, what did that mean to you to hold that trophy aloft?
Yeah, it meant everything. Obviously, like I said before, I was not expecting it at all. I think I came in and I was like ranked like 80 or something. As I said before, I was just, happy to qualify. It was my first ever USM. So coming into the week, I'd been playing pretty good. I think I won a tournament in the summer before that. So I had a little bit of confidence going in, but never thought I would be, winning the USM. But it meant so much, and it really got me some really cool starts for this year, getting to play in 3 out of the 5 majors. So, it gave me so many great experiences this year. And as I said before, it's one of the coolest experiences ever.
For you, what does the sport of golf mean to both of you?
I guess I don't really know life without it, to be fair. But for me, the biggest thing I love about golf is just the constant learning. Like, you think you have it figured out, and then next minute you feel like you've never played golf before. So just, having that curiousness around, trying new shots, playing different lies, and just learning so much about the game. It's never ending, I feel like, and it always brings you back the next day for some weird reason.
Yeah, I feel like I kind of have a more appreciation for it since playing tennis. I feel like the competitive side for me has been awesome. In tennis, I didn't really like the one-on-one kind of competitive aspect, whereas like you're always playing against someone else and that person is your rival. Whereas in golf, you're walking a most of the time beautiful golf course and you're with your friends, and the people you're able to meet, and you're not really playing directly against them. You're kind of playing the golf course, which is something that I like. And one thing that I found really strange when I switched from tennis to golf was that your playing partners are kind of rooting for you, and you can say good shot and you can have a conversation with them. In tennis, you never really had that. So I feel like I really enjoy the competitive aspect of golf in that way, that it's more social. And also, you know, the places I've been able to go for golf and the people I've been able to meet. Yeah, it's been awesome.
Amelia, I believe you got your own little podcast, which I'm sure Gabby's been involved in as well, somewhere along the line as a guest. Tell us a bit about that, Amelia.
Yeah, kind of podcast, just a little series on our Instagram page. Over in America, obviously this accent stands out a little bit, so I think that played a part in it becoming a little crowd favorite on our followers. But yeah, no, it's called the Garv Show. If anyone, you know, wants to see what it's like to be a USC golfer and playing practice rounds and stuff, you can find some content on there. But yeah, it's just kind of a way for us to enjoy, you know, being out there and we do take it seriously, obviously, but I feel like it lightens up people's day, and our practice rounds can get pretty long. We've had a 6-hour one before, so yeah, Katie and I just took out the camera one day and started doing a little commentary, and got everyone involved in it. But yeah, hopefully it can be back up and running soon. We haven't had much on there lately because my producer Katie isn't here with me, but yeah, it's just a little bit of fun.
So, Katie, can I ask how was that prior to the pandemic with Amelia?
With the Garv Show?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it definitely made practice rounds way more fun. I mean, some people take practice rounds way too serious and you just grind and you're exhausted, but the Garv Show like kept everything light, and you know, we're always looking forward to new topics and what else to do and try to get everyone involved. And I thought it really kind of showed kind of like the personalities of each person on our team and how like laid back and chill Justin and I are, and just like how much fun you can actually make like a tournament in college golf, and it's not always just uptight and serious all the time.
Now, I'll get all three to answer this next question, which is for everyone, especially here in Australia or over in New Zealand, that's watching this. What would be your advice to them to hopefully get a chance to come over to the US and either play in a college or play in the pros?
Yeah, so for juniors coming up, I would for sure recommend, especially Australians, and New Zealand coming over to college. I think for me and Amelia, it's been the best thing for us. We were playing in kind of the same tournaments in Australia and New Zealand, and you play against the same people kind of every tournament. And, you know, we were doing pretty well. And then we came over to the US and we saw how good these girls are, and we saw the best in the world. And we were able to not only, on our team, there were some amazing players. So week in, week out, we were getting to compete against those players. But also when you go and play in tournaments, you're playing literally against the best in the world. I think at one point, I played with like the number 2 player in the world and then like the number 3 player in the world, all in the same group. So it was really awesome and really motivating, I think, for both of us, and kind of eye-opening to see, you know, how these girls play. And, you know, it drove me to work harder and to try and, I think when we both came over, I think I was ranked like 600 or something, and I think Amelia was around the same. So it really motivated us to want to improve and, you know, try and compete against the best in the world. So it's definitely been the best experience for me, for sure.
Yeah, completely the same. I think the biggest advice for me would be just to give it a go. You're not really tied down to anything either. Like if you hate your first year, 6 months, they're not going to, you know, keep you over there. You can always come home, but just give it a go, because I was definitely very nervous before going over. Gabby and I were both only 17, so it's a big move and it's a big transition for sure for being that age. But I honestly, it's been the best 3 years of my life, and I couldn't imagine of being, you know, staying here and not being able to see what Gabby was saying. The level of golf over in the States is just, you can't compare it to back home. And just being able to be against these girls, you know, week after week, day in, day out, and yeah, it can't compare at all.
Well, on those two, on their notes, it takes a very strong person to leave their family and come over halfway across the world to play at a college in somewhere you've never been in a totally different country. So mad respect for these two for leaving their homeland and coming over. It's really awesome. From a coaching perspective, I would say you got to come play in the United States or somewhere where colleges can see you. And of course, sending lots of emails and lots of information about yourself, but a lot of coaches like to see actual tournament play. So that would be my biggest advice.
Gabby, I need to ask you this question. Now, I know a lot of our Australian fans of yours are dying to know, when are you coming back to Melbourne again?
Yeah, I think I touched up on this a little bit at the start, but I really want to come back. I miss it. I mean, obviously, I said I haven't been back since I started college, which is about 3 years ago now. So I really, really want to come back. Unfortunately, during the summers when I have time off school, there's been a lot of tournaments here that I've had to be here for. And then, you know, I mean, okay, so hopefully I can get back sometime this next year. I'll just say that right now, hopefully. You know, college has been kind of like tying me down a little bit because I've had to be here for classes and everything, but I'm a senior now, and hopefully there will be some events when I'm looking to turn pro, but I definitely want to come back. I want to go back to my home course. I want to see my friends again. So definitely want to plan a trip next year.
And we'll finish off with this one last one. Now, for Amelia and Gabby in particular, have you convinced any of your teammates at USC to come back and, you know, visit New Zealand or Australia?
Try to. It's a long way though, unfortunately. But that's the thing, everyone says, oh yeah, I'm so keen. But then once it comes to booking flights and stuff, it's a different story. But no, for sure, I would love to show people around New Zealand and give them a taste of my home. But yeah, as Gabby said, we are really busy as students. So whenever we get a break, you know, you're wanting to spend it with your family, which is understandable. But hopefully maybe in retirement or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think anyone on our team has come to Australia or New Zealand yet. I feel like people in America think that it's like on the other side of the world, which it kind of is.
Amelia played Marcians.
Oh, she did, and she won there, actually.
Yeah.
She won that. But yeah, hopefully even Katie or anyone, if they want to come down, I highly recommend it. But I feel like I need to get myself there first before other people start going. So yeah, definitely want to go soon.
That's where I met you, Melbourne.
Oh yeah, see, I'm forgetting about it.
Yara.
I forgot about that. See, some people have.
I think we should book a team trip post Corona.
Yes.
Get everyone over here.
If that's within the budget. I don't know if it is.
We'll budget for it.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see if we can try and help you out with that, with some money for that budget. But all three, thank you so much for giving up your time to join us. It's awesome having you on the show, and can't wait to see where it all goes in 2021 once we're all out of COVID.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No,
Thanks so much.
No worries. And of course, that's the USC women's golf team there, of course, of Amelia, Gabby, and of course, assistant coach Katie there. Of course, if you want to follow them on the socials, of course, we'll put all the details up on how you can follow the team on social media, of course, with this interview. There's more on the Smash Sports Show right after this. Don't go away here on the Friday edition.